orange juice aerobics. All right, and today we are out here, and usually I would do my jumps and then I would run, but today I knew I wasn't going to PR, so I ran, and now I'm going to do my jumps. And actually I'm still a little fresh, which means I either didn't run hard enough or I should run some more. But lately I've been kind of having an issue where I PR'd a couple weeks ago. I ran a 108 in the 400, and my goal is to run a 105. So I have like 3.5 seconds to cut still off my time. And I've been trying to do it through weightlifting. I'm trying to get my sprint speed faster by doing more weights with my legs. But what I've been doing lately is running miles a lot, and now my endurance is going up, but my sprint speed is going down. So like today I ran a 115, 114, 400 meter, but I ran under 130 all 400s. So today I ran my fastest total time, but my fastest time was like 6 seconds slower. So I gotta start doing more sprints. I need to slim down a little bit to try to increase my top speed so that I can reach my goal of a 105 in the 400. But what I'm also having issues with, I don't want to talk too much, but as I increase my training, it gets harder and harder to stay consistent. So as I'm doing more and more training, like I started doing like mile workouts, then I was doing 2-mile workouts. Now I'm doing like 2.5, 3-mile sprint workouts. And as I do more and more, it gets harder though not to take a day off. Or it gets harder though or it's easier to say, oh, I'm sore and just take a day off. So like this week, I only trained 3 days this whole week, whereas usually I do 4 days. So it's also catching up to me a little bit, just the rigor of every week coming back out here and doing it. So I really want to accomplish my goal of a 105 400 as quick as I can. Maybe I should almost just start waking up at 7 a.m. and making it a point to do it, and maybe that's what I have to do at the end here. But there's a chance I might not run a 105 400 this year. It's a tough goal. I ran 114, 115 today, and it's a tough goal. I mean, as my endurance goes up, my sprints go down, and then my sprint will go up and my endurance will go down. So it's tough though. But I'm doing more workouts. I'm running more like 3 miles every time. Like today I did 2 miles, and I ran every 400 under 1:30. So I ran 114, 115, then I ran 125, then 124, then 122. So I had negative splits today too. So I'm getting better, but maybe my top speed isn't necessarily reflecting that also. And I'm dieting more too. I kept track of how much sugar I ate this week. So now I'm keeping track of my sugar. I'm trying to eliminate butter and fried food. So I'm trying to eliminate butter and fried food. I'm trying to keep a total of how much sugar I eat. Not with the goal to eliminate all the sugar in my diet, but just to cut back. Because you're supposed to eat some sugar, but I definitely eat too much sugar. So just by writing it down, it forces me to just kind of maintain a stable balance in my sugar and my whole foods. And that's all part of trying to get faster. You know, speed and strength are so important that it takes a whole lot of little things to improve them. I also bought some McDonald's All-American shorts on eBay. Someone who made the McDonald's All-American team must have had to sell them, so I had to repossess them. So I also, I gotta stay in shape if I'm gonna rock these repossessed McDonald's All-American shorts that I just bought on eBay. I gotta keep my 400 times low, otherwise someone might repossess those shorts from me. Otherwise I might be on eBay in a few years selling my McDonald's All-American shorts. And they could get repossessed from me. So I gotta stay out here grinding. Because you never know who's on eBay looking to purchase your shorts. Those are my shorts now. Those 2010 McDonald's All-American shorts, those are my shorts now. It says eBay. Let's just do 5 with each leg. Like I said, I just ran 2 miles. I did 4 400s and I did a mile in 7:30. I did all the 400s under 1:30. I did 4 400s today in a composite time of 5:23, which is my fastest 4x400 composite yet this year. So even though I'm not running my fastest times, I ran my fastest composite time today, which is all 4 of my runs combined. So I'm definitely getting better. I feel stronger too. I feel stronger, and that's just as important as running faster. You know, because sometimes it'll be mental, where I'll just run through a wall, I'll run a really fast time, but that's not necessarily because I worked really hard, because I just went crazy that day. I just mentally pushed through it. But like today, I ran a 1:14, you know, pushing myself, but not maybe having to go all the way. But it's tough too, because you want to push yourself to 100% every time, especially in the 400. That's why the 400 is such a great event, is because it's impossible, literally impossible, to run 100% sprint speed all the way around the track. So at some point, you have to conserve energy a little bit, and it's just a matter of how much are you going to conserve? Are you going to go for it the whole race? Are you going to try to PR? I love the 400 for that reason though, because you cannot, it's almost impossible to run 100% the entire 400 meters. I mean, you have to conserve energy a little bit. So it's a little bit of a strategic event too. Like a lot of times I'll conserve energy on the back stretch, on the back 100 meters. And then the last 200 meters I'll try to go 100%. And sometimes I won't go all out the first 100. And that's a bad habit. But this week I tried to fix that, where I went out hard the first 100. And then also, I noticed where I kick, when I have 150 meters to go, I kicked so many times, or I did it so many times this summer, that the kick started to get easy. Where I was just so used to kicking, that now the kick isn't that hard. And I'm running really hard at the end, and I'm conserving too much in the beginning. So I gotta work on my strategy too. So the 400 is a great event in that there's some strategy to it too. And that doesn't necessarily represent true speed either. I mean, these jumps are just as important as the 400 is. Because true speed is game speed. You know, this is track speed. That's different though. But this definitely helps. But you gotta remember too, when you're training, that you're training for what you're training for. You know, if you're not playing basketball, you're not getting better at basketball. You know, you're getting better at running. And that might help, but you don't want to confuse the two either. You know, and by doing the same thing every time, you don't want to build up one side of the muscle and not the other side. So it's important to do a little bit of everything too. So that's why I try to do sprints and endurance. Eight. Woo! Like the lion pouncing in the savannah. Well, and then I need to rest a lot of times after this too. I mean, don't kid yourself. I just ran 4 400s in a mile, and now I'm doing jumps. I'm probably gonna do another 4 or 500 meter sprints after this to work on my sprint speed, like I was saying. After that, I'm gonna take a nap. After that, I'm gonna lay in bed for about 3 hours, sore as hell. So you gotta rest too. And you know, that's why a lot of this stuff is hard, is because it'll knock you out the next day sometimes. But the next morning, I'll feel tired still. And that's why as I keep upping my training, it's getting harder and harder. And that's where I'm hitting kind of a wall right now. Where I PR'd at 108 in the 100, or in the 400, I'm struggling to get under 105. I'm struggling to get under 110 consistently. I think that's the only time I've run under 110 in the last 5 years. So I gotta get under 110. I gotta break that 105. But today, I ran almost all 4 of them under 125. So I'm getting there. It's tough after that first one too. When you go 100% on the first sprint, on the first 400, the rest are really difficult. The first one is a little different because you're fresh. You have your sprint legs still. The second one, you can't even really sprint 100%. So that first 400 too is different. You got to go all out on that first one if you want to get faster. So sprints are more about focus too. Where sprint exercises are more about focus and making sure you do good on that first one and position and form. Whereas endurance is more about just being a beast and just running through pain. Sprints are more about form and being in position, and having good mechanics and going hard on the first rep and challenging yourself consistently day in and day out. Whereas endurance is just about how many miles can you run until you drop. But the 400 is beautiful because it's a mix of that. How fast can you go and how fast can you go for a while? So the 400 is definitely my favorite event. Now it is. The 400 and the mile. And maybe if I don't run 105 this year, that'll be my goal next year. I'm probably gonna run all winter, but the odds are that I won't PR during the winter. Because as it gets colder, even today it was a little colder, I knew I wasn't gonna PR. So as it gets colder, maybe I'll have to just keep consistently running, but maybe not even focus on PRing again until the spring. So there's a chance I could not reach my goal this year. And I'm a little content with 108. 108 in the 400 for me isn't bad. So I kind of ran that time and got a little bit content, where maybe I should just wake up at 7 a.m. every day and bite my tongue and come out here every day and just do it real quick. Because maybe 2 weeks of training every morning might do it. So we'll see what happens. I gotta make that decision in the next couple of days because it's getting colder. And who knows when this COVID thing is gonna end. But this is giving me a great chance to do cardio. My cardio is the best it's ever been right now. I would say my leg strength is the best it's ever been too. But that doesn't necessarily, like I said, that doesn't necessarily transfer to better basketball or better football or better sports. You got to really train for what you want to be good at. It's making me faster, yeah, but it's a small part of the game. Okay, maybe I'm a little faster in transition now. It's not that big a deal. Ultimately, how well you perform in anything is going to be an accumulation of a lot of different things, and this is just one little thing that I can do to get better at whatever I do. It's just a hobby for me. Lately I've been studying and reading a lot, sharpening my mind, and then I work on my foot speed and my endurance. Mind, body, and soul. Work on your foot speed, read, work on your intelligence. It's not a bad way to spend your time. Woo! These are strengthening my legs too. Woo. See, I'm doing more now. So it's getting harder though. I did this after running today, whereas usually I'll do jumps and then I'll run. But my core is definitely getting better. So it's one day at a time. Might even do 1 or 2 400s after this, just to do a little more. Try to get faster. And now I'm trying to cut 1 second. But like this week, I missed a day because I was sore. Woo-hoo-hoo. You know, why even squat? Why put all that weight on your back? You know, my back's a little weak because I don't squat a lot. I don't do a lot of heavy back exercises. But I prefer to do this with zero risk of injury. But that's why I gotta strengthen my core too. Because, you know, my back isn't used to having a lot of weight on it. So I gotta make sure I keep this middle area strong, where if I'm curling and benching a lot, I don't fold in half. But I don't like to squat heavy weight. I like to do it like this, which has its benefits and its negatives. The benefit being you're not gonna hurt yourself. Whew. That's orange juice aerobics. And I ran 2 miles and then I did that. And you know what? I'm about to run another 400 and probably call that a workout.